What's up, y'all? I am out here at the farm working my hardest. We have like a span of warm weather for the next 2 weeks. So I'm taking this opportunity to get a lot of plants in because our germination will be a little bit better since it's not as cold and the seeds won't be lying dormant. And I'm also going through and I'm replacing some celery. So I want to give you all a celery tip for when you try to do it in the winter. So the celery here, I'm getting this whole row here. I'm going through, I think the whole row may be a total loss, maybe better use of our time. But what happens with the celery, if the ventilation isn't good, you get this center rotting in here. It looks really disgusting. You can see it up close. It looks really, really nasty. And this happened to a lot of the plants here. I think it was a combination of it just being really, really cold. And also the ventilation wasn't as good. The ventilation over here on this row of celery is a whole lot better. And here, these plants are a little bit younger. It's a whole lot better, but this middle row, the ventilation was horrible. So I actually need to do this in this row as well. I don't think it would be as extensive because I'm starting to see the center of the plant push out new stalks. But on this row, it's really, really bad. So I'll be going through here, getting these plants up, and I'll be composting. And then I have some other celery plants that I'll be replacing these with. I don't think we'll lose that much time growing wise. I had a row of celery on this last row here. I've since gotten all of that out and I've planted radishes in their place. So one thing that I'm looking at doing is tarping rows. And after I tarp, I direct seed. And after I direct seed, I tarp. So that just helps keep the weed pressure under control. But you'll just watch me go through here, get this stuff going, composting these old plants. And I'll probably plant some new ones probably tomorrow. I got a busy week. And so I'll get these in tomorrow. But we have some beets on this row here. And they're starting to come up. I went through and did a light weed. I weeded a little bit there. And I actually need to go through and do it again. But here we have on this row, kale mix, salad mix here. We have kale mix there, and we have radishes here. So the trick for the winter is not to get overzealous and then start getting in things too early. So for me, what I wanted to get in were things like the celery. I won't plant celery as late like I did last year. I will never do it again. But just because I can just tell it needs like a warmer environment, I need to get it in no later than September next year. And I don't want to take it through the winter again. I just did it because my plant ordering got a little off. But the things I'm going to get in now are items that can handle a frost because I don't want to plant an item like celery or an item that can't really take the frost. I don't want to get my tomatoes in early. That's a little extreme. But I don't want to do anything like that because if and when we get a frost, because we're not in the winter yet, then those things will take a heavy hit and I'll potentially lose them. So I want to be very intentional and think this through and get direct seeded items in until our transplants come in. If I had transplants, I'll get a kale, chard, collard green in. I'll do something like that. But since I don't have access, or spinach, I've been having a hard time growing spinach here, by the way. But I would do something like that just to cover myself until I feel like the temperature really switches or we go into spring. And then I won't be as susceptible to losing more money and then losing more time. So you all just gonna see me go through here, just observing some celery plants and then periodically just moving them to the side, and I'll get a bucket, put them all in, and then I'll take these old celery plants that aren't gonna make it, and I'll compost them in a compost pile right behind the greenhouse. So this one probably can make it. And what I'm really looking at here is the center of the plant. If I see the center rotten, here's a good one where it's all the way rotten, then I'll make sure I get it out for sure. Yep, these are all rotten. And this can just be I think this is just holding extra moisture in because I didn't do a good job at getting my tarps off. So these are hard lessons, but we don't lose too much time because I don't need these beds free exactly right now. So I'm gonna, this is just one bed. Now, if it was all the beds that we lost, I'd be a little sad. But I do see a good sign while I'm in here. I do see I see some worms in here. So that's a good sign. Okay, that's pushing out. And this has happened before at the farm. Well, not to this extent, but when the plants got a little bit older, they're ready to harvest, they got real slimy. I think we had a fungus that year. So this is my first time growing celery in a year. So and this is easier just for me to turn my back and work forward with these. Only reason I just turned back now is because I didn't want to hold you all out. So this whole bed is almost a total loss at this point. But I do have extra plants. So that is a good thing. If I had to take a total loss with these plants at this point, I wouldn't feel too bad because I could direct seed here. And I may get to that point. I may just be like, do I want to go through and replace each one? I may just pull all of them up as I'm going through. I think that makes a little bit more sense. Time-wise, yeah, this whole bed looks like, okay, he's making it. I don't know by the end of this. But we should start getting better growth with these plants. With this next planting, if we don't get like another hard freeze. But like I mentioned, having these other celery plants here allows me to go through. So we're almost at a total loss on this bed. It's about everybody. So I'll probably just put another leafy green here and then just use my other celery plants to replenish this bed here, which like is bouncing back pretty well. But and I may just prep a bed in one of these middle houses and put the celery there just to kind of hedge my bet. But I may just go through and I'll probably just use these extra plants to replace. I hate to do this, but then these down here look better, which makes sense because there's more ventilation down here. Yeah, just about all of these look good. So I think my final verdict, so I'm thinking out loud, I think I'm going to replant. I know y'all probably look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm probably going to replant. I'll replant here and replant over there as well. And I'm just looking at this bed to make sure I don't see the same thing. I do see some plants are in bad condition, which I can also attribute probably to moisture as well. I do see some new growth, which is good, which I can work with. But like I mentioned, I'm looking for the middle of the plant to be rotten. And if I don't see that, this all looks good here. Here's some with some pest damage. But I think these are in a better position. So I'll just go ahead and replant. So if you all have any questions about that, I'm getting ready to put everybody else in my compost bucket. Just let me know and I will answer your questions in the comments. Y'all have a great day.